The NBA season is finally back, and it's safe to say that Wizards basketball is now back. And coming into this season, there's a lot of question marks lying around the air, such as how are the Wizards going to do with their new head coach Wes Unseld Jr., with the new additions of Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, and KCP. How would the new rotation look like? Is Deni Avdija going to prove that he's not a bust? Will Rui Hachimura make a big leap in his junior year? Is Daniel Gafford going to prove that he is a starting caliber center in the NBA? We'll break it down all right now.
Welcome back to DMV Sports Zone.
Chased down by Beal in the corner for three, gets fouled and hits.
Welcome to DC.
Well, they tied him out.
You know where you're at, the USA cap. You're taking it slightly, I'm taking it slightly. Now how you gon' act on you gon' be right back. Well, we gon' be right here, we gon' be right here. We ain't going nowhere. Welcome to DC. DC, the home of Chuck Brown. Oh, you don't know the sound? Well, let me break it down.
The 2020 to 2021 Washington Wizards were not very good. The unfortunate part about that is that it was pretty much expected. Washington finished with a 34-38 record and finished 17th on offense and 19th in defense, and went 1-1 in the play-in tournament and eventually lost their first-round series to the 76ers in 5 games. The regular season record was a 9-game improvement over the previous season. Despite that improvement, they could not agree on a new contract with head coach Scott Brooks, and the two parted ways. The coaching change is just one of the many changes that the Wizards underwent this offseason, ones that will greatly shape this upcoming season. The son of the late Hall of Famer and Baltimore/Capital/Washington Bullets legend Wes Unseld, who was a player, coach, and executive for the Bullets, has returned to DC to take over the Wizards. Unseld Jr. has been an assistant coach in the NBA and for a short time in the WNBA since 2005. He spent 14 seasons in total with the Wizards, including the first 6 seasons of his coaching career. He has spent the previous 6 seasons on Mike Malone's staff with the Denver Nuggets. Going off just the name Malone, this is an attractive hire for Wizards fans, especially for ones that were around to see his father in action, but he is also good at what he does. In Denver, Unseld Jr. was the lead assistant coach, and his special assignment was to manage the Nuggets defense. Doing that, he transformed a formerly porous Nuggets defense into one of the best defenses in the league. He took a Nuggets defense that was ranked 28th in the league in 2007-2018 into the 10th best the following season. Denver was ranked in the top 6 in defense efficiency from 2008-2021. Unseld Jr. has also been credited as creating the Wizards' offensive game plans in the 3 seasons they were top 10 in the league from 2004 to 2007. He brings a lot of knowledge to the organization. Now let's break down the roster. Rui Hachimura is going into his 3rd NBA season. Last year, he made a big improvement as a shooter. He raised his 3-point percentage to almost 33% and his effective field goal percentage to over 51%. He did make a slight drop in rebounds, but that can definitely be made up. I've always been a big fan of Rui's game, and I really think he can take a big step this year with head coach Wes Unseld Jr., who has played a huge part in developing Jamal Murray and NBA MVP Nikola Jokic. As the likely number 2 option on this team now, he has a golden opportunity to take that big step. Now let's get to the rookie Corey Kispert. First off, we all know the big Rookie of the Year favorites are guys like Cade Cunningham, Jalen Suggs, and Jalen Green, but do not discount Corey Kispert. He could not have really had a much better career at Gonzaga. He improved in most areas every year. Kispert is a tremendous shooter and has shown great leadership abilities. The 15th overall pick in this year's NBA draft has a skill set that could translate into the league very well. He is one of the dark horse candidates for this season's Rookie of the Year award. And now we talk about superstar Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is coming into his 10th NBA season and should dominate once again. Last year's 2nd leading scorer, 31.3 points per game, is finally the guy for the Wizards. No John Wall, no Russell Westbrook. It's his time to shine, and he should do just that. He will be this team's leader and best player. If he remains with the team for the whole season, he will thrive in that role. The rumor mill about him seems to always be churning during the season with rumors that he wants out of Washington or make cryptic tweets. But until then, he actually explicitly says that and has stated multiple times that all that stuff is exactly what they are, rumors. Expect him to perform very well again this season. Replacing Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook ended up only being a Wizard for a single season before being dealt to the Los Angeles Lakers. He averaged a triple-double for the fourth time in the last 5 seasons last year. It is almost impossible to replace that kind of production with just one player. Their new point guard that will try to fix as much of that big hole as he can is Spencer Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie has been improving every year with the Brooklyn Nets until he suffered a partially torn ACL only 3 games into last year, ending his season very prematurely. Personally, I think he is a very underrated player in this league. You don't hear many people talking about him a lot because he's pretty good at what he does. He's a good scorer and passer, and he doesn't even have to start, although he definitely will start for the team. He's in a very good three-point shooter, but with a team that has guys like Davis Bertans and Corey Kispert, he doesn't have to be. With Aaron Holiday coming over from the Indiana Pacers and Raul Neto returning, he won't have to do the point guard duty. He won't have to handle the point guard duties alone. Dinwiddie can show what he can do this season. The other new additions. The Wizards got multiple new big additions in the Westbrook trade. Kyle Kuzma, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Montrezl Harrell, as well as a 22nd overall pick in this year's draft, coming over from the Lakers. That pick was used on Isaiah Jackson, but it was sent to the Pacers for Aaron Holiday in the 31st pick, which became Isaiah Todd. First, for the later part of the draft, rookie power forward Isaiah Todd was one of the best players in the country coming out of high school. He had originally committed to Michigan, but he ended up changing his mind. Todd skipped college and went to play for the NBA's G League Ignite. He played well, averaging 12.3 points per game and 4.9 rebounds per game, and just shot under 48% from the field. However, he only started 2 games, but that really isn't a big issue. The Baltimore native may not make a big impact right away, but he definitely can eventually. Aaron Holiday was the other part of that trade. In his first 3 NBA seasons, all with the Pacers, he was a very solid role player. He mostly came off the bench for them, doing so in 141 of his 182 career games so far. His stats did drop a little bit last season, but that could be attributed to the fact that he was playing almost 7 fewer minutes per game. That point guard should be a good addition to the Wizards bench. Now for the big one, the return they got for Russell Westbrook in the trade with the Lakers. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope arrives in the district as a potential starter. The shooting guard could either start or come off the bench, but either way, he will produce. He had his highest three-point percentage in his career last year. Although his shooting numbers did drop off a little bit, he increased the rest of his averages compared to the year before. While KCP is mainly a scorer, he is also a decent defender. He even received a third-place vote for Defensive Player of the Year last season. Montrezl Harrell might be the best player the Wizards received in that trade. Harrell, the 2026 Man of the Year, will be a monster off the bench in Washington. In his winning 2020 campaign, he averaged 18.6 points per game, 7.1 rebounds per game, 1.7 assists per game, 0.6 steals per game, and 1.1 blocks per game. While those numbers did drop last season, he did raise his shooting percentages. Harrell shot 62% from the field, and he had a 63% field goal percentage last year. He will be the number 1 guy off the Wizards bench. Kyle Kuzma is the wild card. As much as he's a meme, not long after the trade, there were a lot of rumors that Washington could flip him to another team. While the rumors have died down, it could still happen. But for now, he's still a Wizard. Kuzma's production fell off significantly the past 2 seasons after the Lakers traded for Anthony Davis. He struggled with inconsistency. Perhaps he struggled under the pressure from one of the NBA's biggest fan bases and under the bright lights in Los Angeles. Who knows? But Kuzma gets a clean slate in Washington heading into his 5th professional season. He's still only 26 years old and he still has time for improvement. Kuzma played the power forward position for his first 3 seasons before mainly playing small forward last season. Given that the Wizards have a lot at center and power forward, he should be able to carve himself out of the role at the small forward. The development of young players. Thomas Bryant is coming off a torn ACL. Before that, he was playing great. Granted, it was a very small sample size because he only played 10 games. Bryant was averaging 14.3 points per game, which was a career high, and 6.1 rebounds per game. He was also playing a career high 27.1 minutes per game before being injured. He shot 71% from 2-point range. That's crazy good, even with the small sample size. He also raised his 3-point percentage to just under 43%. Bryant also led the league in 2-point percentage in 2018 through 2019 at over 68%. That also set a Washington Wizards franchise record. Bryant has become one of the most efficient scorers in the NBA. Perhaps the best part is that he only turned 24 a couple months ago, so he's still young. The center position is a lot better now than it was a year ago, but if Bryant continues to get better, then he should have no problems getting more playing time. Deni Avdija was the 9th overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft coming out of his native Israel land. As a rookie, he averaged 6.3 points per game, 4.9 rebounds per game, 1.2 assists per game, 0.6 steals per game, and 0.3 blocks per game. He played 23.3 minutes per game and started 32 out of the 54 games that he played in. Those are solid numbers, but you obviously want more than that out of the 9th overall pick. But also remember that Avdija is only 20 years old and heading into his 2nd NBA season. He has plenty of time to learn and develop. And last year, under Scott Brooks, he was mainly used as a spot-up shooter, and Avdija is known for being a ball handler / point forward. Now let's talk about additions from last year that is coming into the season. Daniel Gafford, a shot blocker who came into the season traded at the trade deadline from the Chicago Bulls. He is definitely going to be starting, but the rotation between him and Thomas Bryant is going to be interesting. But for now, the likely first-string starters, we have Spencer Dinwiddie at point guard, Bradley Beal at shooting guard, Kyle Kuzma at the 3, Rui Hachimura at the 4, and Daniel Gafford at the 5. The second unit would most likely be Aaron Holiday, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Danny Avdija, Davis Bertans, and Montrezl Harrell. And the likely deep reserves will be Raul Neto, Corey Kispert, Anthony Gill, Isaiah Todd, and Thomas Bryant, with Cassius Winston as well. Now, who knows? This will probably be changing throughout the whole season. And I want to see Corey Kispert eventually get the starting position. But for now, I think Kyle Kuzma has secured it with his veteran presence. But now for the prediction of this team in this season. The Eastern Conference got a lot better. The Chicago Bulls got DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball. They still have Nikola Vucevic. They still have Zach LaVine, an amazing player. Miami Heat added Kyle Lowry this offseason. The Knicks added Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker. So the East got tougher. Now, with all of that, and with the new additions for the Wizards, I have us finishing 9th in the Eastern Conference with a 40-42 record and fighting in the play-in round. I don't think that this team is a lottery team. They still have Bradley Beal. They still have great depth, which is something that the team lacked the previous years. And I really hope this season will be way better than last year. And it's going to be fun to watch. Wes Unseld Jr., a defensive-minded coach, will definitely shape this team up. But that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you guys think the Wizards are a playoff team? Do you think they're a lottery team? Do you think Bradley Beal is going to average more than 30 points per game? What will the starting rotation look like? And do you think the Wizards are going to be rebuilding in the next couple of years, or are they already rebuilding? Let me know in the comment section. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe for more DMV Sports content. And yeah, guys, peace.